Welcome to Yoube Stayinuplate with your hosts, Summer Reeds, Paige Turner, Worth Reading, Cliffhanger, and Read More.
I do that all the time. I'm like, I should come back to that and do that. Have you clicked play? Oh. Okay, well. We're going now.
Thanks for joining us today. We have some great segments lined up.
Let's make like Captain Ahab and dive right in.
First, scientists are reporting that recent research determines that if you eat a truffle bar during the pandemic, the calories don't count.
Wow, I need to grab some of those. Our on-location reporter, Cliffhanger, will now tell us more about this startling discovery. Cliff? I guess we'll check back with her later. This just in. New product for Father's Day. All right, let's talk about what we got here today. We have some lovely ties right here.
They sent us some really nice ones.
I know, I really like them. Like, I like this brown one. Like, I never see a good brown tie.
Yeah.
That is a nice one.
And they sent us a ton of blue, which is good, because blue is a really popular color.
And then I like that we got like the fun orange and then a floral.
Yes, good
We
orange.
do have
is
some
hard.
really fun florals too.
Yeah, and skinny ties.
Yes.
Skinny ties are nice.
And they're all on sale. This one, $6.99. You can't find a tie for that price anywhere.
And I think all the skinny ones are $5.99, right?
Yeah. Yes, I think so.
Those ones are fun. New Tim Ballard. That's a big one.
That's a must-have, especially if you've already purchased the other two in the Hypothesis series. The Lincoln Hypothesis and the Washington Hypothesis. This one covers the Pilgrims, has some QR codes in it, and you're able to kind of explore the areas that Tim Ballard talks about in his book. So that's kind of cool.
I think that's fun, because it makes it a little more interactive and a little more, I guess, ties it to that history. And
Right,
that.
it puts you in that space,
Yeah.
which is cool, because books are supposed to do that, but this kind of just adds that extra element, that visual that you get in movies.
Could you imagine that in a fiction book?
Oh, that'd be so cool.
That'd be so fun.
New idea. Let's do that with all fiction
Somebody
books.
do it.
Please tell me which place you're actually talking about with this QR code. That'd be so cool.
That'd
Okay.
be awesome.
What else do we've got?
New Jerry Barrowman. His are really good too, because they're very historical but interesting at the same time. Like, he chooses events that I've never heard of before.
Right, it's not something you're like, oh, yeah, every other author has talked about this.
Yeah.
I can Google this one and read all about it, but it's like stuff I'm like, oh, wow.
Didn't even know that happened.
And like the first event in here takes place in 1865. So, and then the last one is in 1963. So it covers a period of time where
It kind of moves forward, I think, through.
yeah, where, you know, you're not like, oh yes, this happened in 2011. I remember that. Most people probably won't remember anything that happened in 1906. So
1865.
no, nobody will. Nobody. Unless you're immortal and we just don't know about it. Also, we have Young Joseph 1820. It's our little historical movie for the year. 35 minutes. Is that what it is?
I think so.
Super cute. It's perfect for, you know, wanting to get together for family, sit down with the grandkids or the kids, and just pop this on and spend some time together as a family for Father's Day.
I like that it kind of introduces some of the like thoughts and beliefs that led him to the question that sparked the first vision.
And then I like also that it shows his interactions with Alvin, because we don't see a lot of him with Alvin. It's always Hiram, so that was a cool aspect of it. And then a young Warren Porter Rockwell, which he's the cutest thing ever. Love him.
Can't go wrong with that.
No. And then finally we've got Fathers of the Prophets, which goes from Joseph Smith Jr. to President Nelson, and it just talks about their dads, which is kind of cool because there are several prophets that, you know, their fathers were prophets as well, so you get to see that generation going back and forth. So that one was really interesting, and learning about President Nelson's dad is really cool too, that he was, you know, President Nelson wasn't baptized till he was 16, but his dad still supported him and everything. So
I think it's always neat to learn about the people who were involved in the lives of prophets. Like once you know somebody's a prophet, and then you go back and you examine their lives or like their interactions with people, and you're like, oh,
You're like, oh,
interesting.
my family's like that too. Okay.
Right.
Like, you know, you don't have
Things
to
might
have
actually be okay.
right. You don't have to be, I don't know, have your whole
Like the picture perfect.
like your whole family line doesn't have to be like stalwart from the very beginning. You know,
Yeah.
there are family members who falter, but you know, you still can be a great human being. So those are some of our suggestions for Father's Day.
You'll be a hero and prevent catastrophes with these gifts.
Now, a word from our sponsor.
And that word is bibliotaph, a person who hoards books.
What an excellent word. That brings us to our next segment, Chapter Chat with Worth Reading.
How are you doing, Worth?
Well, Paige, I'm all booked up for the weekend. How have the both of you been?
We're about the same, Worth. You need to carpe readem while you have the chance. Right, Paige?
You are both correct. Now, Worth, what did you bring with you today?
I have a real treat for your shelf today. 3 new releases. A Change of Fortune, Flying My in Love, and a book about the bees.
And you don't mean the murderous kind, do you?
Of course not. This is Carol Warburton's latest called The Whispered Dance of the Bees.
Okay.
First of all, why don't we talk about The Whispered Dance of the Bees? Have you guys read this?
I've started it, Worth, and it's very intriguing. It's different from what you expect. It's not a Regency romance, it's a historical romance. I believe it's set in the 1700s, so way before the time period, but very, very interesting.
And it sounds like it has some romance involved, but it's not like a high point of the book. It's kind of more on the back burner.
Right.
Yeah, it's one of those fascinating tales that really get you into it from start to finish. And the author did an amazing way to kind of bring the period around and make it a little bit of romance in with it.
Yeah.
So, really a good read.
Do you have a quote you want to share with us?
Oh, yes. It was then that I learned that as much can be said with looks as with words, as the quickening of my heart bore witnesses.
It's a lovely quote. It is.
Well, I look forward to getting to that part of the book.
So, really good. I think you guys will enjoy that.
So, okay, what else do you have for us?
Okay, now I also have A Change of Fortune. Tracy Hunter Abramson. You guys,
Nice.
she's the best. I absolutely love
You
her.
just can't go
She
wrong.
has got
You really can.
No, she has got, like, she's done the Naval SEALs, she's done romances, she's done the Royal Targets, she's done all of these different ones, and this one here's kind of a different one for her.
Mm-hmm.
It's still, it's a romance, but it kind of jumps around a little bit. This, when she first goes in, she's doing really good, and then she finds out that her father has cancer, and so it kind of upsets her life completely and turns it all around, and so everything that she had planned for her life quickly changes. And then the romance comes in. I have to tell you, the romance is always fun. I don't know why, but I always like that little bit of romance.
Who doesn't love a romance?
Right. She's had this, his name is Jason, and he has had a crush on her for ever and forever. And so you can kind of go through it and look and see the way that they interact with each other
Nice.
as it grows.
I do have to say, I love Tracy Abramson's like Naval SEAL series and like the Guardians and everything that goes with her background. But I adore when she does a contemporary romance because it's so different, but she does it so well. I just really enjoy those ones.
She really does a little bit of everything, and she's so good at all of it.
She does. She's
They just
phenomenal.
draw you in, and you don't want to put them down.
I know.
I just, you can't go wrong with hers. I don't care. I just absolutely love, love, love Tracy Hunter Abramson. And she's one of those that whenever the customers come in, they know what they want. You know, as soon as she's got a book out, they know what they want.
Well, they're
and
so easy to
not
recommend.
Really,
Like if you read any of her books, you'll like any of her books.
Yeah, you will.
She's very consistent in her writing style and with the level of, I don't even know what I'm trying to say.
Like research and details and
Well, and they're so completely opposite. When you go to the romance ones, you're like, oh my gosh, it's totally different, you know.
It focuses
than
all
what
on
the-
that romance
Mhm.
instead of the
Yeah.
action.
And so it's been really fun. Totally enjoy her. Love her. Can't go wrong.
With more from her as well.
Yes, you cannot go wrong with hers at all. I just absolutely love her. Here's another one. This is a contemporary romance. It's Flying in Love, and it is by Shalon Linton. And I just want to read what one of the people that have read it have quoted and that they've said about it. So when Paige Howell catches her boyfriend cheating on her, she decides she is done with the dating scene. This all changes for Paige when she almost literally has a run-in with Captain Jake Summers while at the grocery store. Jake and Paige click right from the start, but with this crazy career, with her insecurities left over from her last relationship, they hit multiple roadblocks to their HEA. I fell in love with characters right from the start. From Paige's obsession with all things Jane Austen to Jake's respect and love for the women in his life, there wasn't a single character that I didn't identify with at some point in the story. There are some stories that strike you in the heart and the story with you, and this is one of those. Shalon Linton has a powerful way of connecting real emotion to her stories. There were many times while reading that I had to sit the book down and just feel the emotions that a scene provoked to me. Paige learning to trust after a heartbreak, her learning to grow to appreciate and understand her mother's more. Jake's dedication to his job and his family. They were all relative to me that I can't wait to read with Sean writes next.
That sounds like a fantastic book.
So I think you guys will absolutely love it. But I've read a few of hers in the past too, and she just does a fantastic job.
does.
She really gets into the story.
She does well with the emotions.
Yes,
The
yes. She
in-depth
kind of-
character development.
She kind of brings tears to my eyes. She's one of those that, as I'm driving home, it takes me a lot longer to drive home because I'm driving around the block because I'm at a really interesting spot and I can't stop. So that's what I find with hers, you know. So
Well, there's something nice
totally
about
enjoyed it.
authors who write relatable characters. Because the story means more, I feel like, when you can relate to
I
the
think
characters.
so. I think so. And I think that's like where I come from, you know, where I don't. And I usually listen to books on CD. And so sometimes it takes me a really long time to get home from work. And my husband wonders why. It's traffic.
Just trapped in a good book, right?
So it's really good.
That's awesome. And then do you have
And I would
a
recommend it.
quote from the book that you'd like to share?
Yes, I do. Mr. Darcy would never listen to a punk band.
The best quote ever.
There you go.
I just
You
really,
can't go wrong with any book that talks about Pride and Prejudice and Mr. Darcy.
That's so true. When they compare him to Mr. Darcy, you know you're in for a good story.
Like, if you know nothing about the book except that one of the characters loves Jane Austen, I'm there.
right?
I will read
Well,
that.
and she sounds like a fanatic, so it sounds like a great, great story. And all of these
Awesome.
will be available on CD.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. So for those who
And
like
if you're
to,
like me, I like to listen. When I'm driving in my car, I like to listen to them, so I'm more the listener, and you two are more the bookworms, I know.
Yes.
I like it in my hands.
yes,
Yep.
yes, I do too. Otherwise,
All
my
right.
thoughts drift off,
Yeah, I do. Or I start like imagining that I'm in
or I
that
go to
book.
sleep.
Oh, and
Yeah.
I just love to listen to them. I do that when I'm reading. Sometimes I will fall
Drift
asleep.
off.
Yep, but I totally love to listen to them.
All right. Thank you, Worth. We can't wait for you to join us next time on Chapter Chat.
I think it's time we checked out how Cliff is doing.
Cliff, are you with us?
Yes, Paige, I'm here outside the local Siegel book.
Oh, good. Were you able to speak to any of the scientists about the truffles?
I had a little trouble getting them to stop testing the chocolate and instead answering my questions, but in my opinion, if they are that dedicated, then something's true about these findings.
That's great to hear, Cliff. Now, why don't you tell our viewers why you're at Siegel Book today?
All right, Summer, our next part to our storyline tonight is our plot twist segment. After we hear a word from our sponsors, we will crack open this novel idea of summer and the pandemic and what we can do to make the best of it.
And that word is Ballycumber, one of 6 half-read books lying in your bed.
Thank you for joining us today for Plot Twist. I'm Cliffhanger, and I'm here with local store employee Crystal, who will be telling us all about their summer lineup. It's great to be here with you. Great. Nice to meet you, Crystal. Tell us what you've got here. Some great summer home decor going on here. We've got some good color schemes with the red, white, and blue. We've got some little I Love Utah signs. We've got lots of Utah stuff going on right now. This is Still the Place signs. Just great home decor, some cute spatulas and kitchen stuff, and some great jugs for lemonade over the summer. We need some lemonade jugs at my house. We always have lemonade in the fridge, and it's nice when you can keep it in a jug and just keep it cold, and you don't have to worry about spilling it if you use a pitcher because it's got a little spout on it. That's what they're perfect for, Cliff. We also have some great dish sets as well that have these cute bowls and a salad plate and a dinner plate. And so they're great for picnics because it's lots of bowls and they're plastic, they're melamine, and so it's perfect for picnicking and summer times. We also have some walking sticks that are great for hiking. Let me show ya. They extend, and you can twist them up so that they're the right height that you need, and they're perfect for hiking for summertime. We've also got some short sales going on right now. We've got some twill shorts in different colors, and then we also have some, we also have some denim shorts in different washes as well that are great. They're perfect length right to the knee, and they're great for summer. That sounds fantastic, Crystal. Thanks for joining us today. Now a special word from our sponsors.
Scripturian, someone who has a passion for writing.
Now, everybody's favorite part of the segment, how to be unsocial.
Yes. Or do I have to be social? Only if you want to find out about new books and things.
But guess what? It's all online, so you don't actually have to go out and talk to people.
Social distancing at its finest.
First up, let's talk about our Whitney Award winners. If you don't know what the Whitney Awards are, it's an LDS or LDS Storymakers based award that they do every May. So this award was for the 2019 writing year, and Tracy Abramson won 2 awards. She won Best Mystery and Suspense and Best Adult Fiction. Mystery and Suspense was for Mistaken Reality, and Sanctuary was for Novel of the Year for Adult.
She's so good. Like, her suspense especially just is riveting. And the whole time you're just wondering what the heck is going to happen next.
And if I remember right, she's a 6-time winner. She's tied in second place with one other author. And there's only one author before her with wins, and I think they have 7. So she's very, very close and very, very good. Like, it's kind of a given that she's going to win because she's just so awesome. So we also have news. She has another book coming out in the fall, so keep an eye out for that. And she, as you guys heard earlier, has one coming out in June. So lots to look forward for Tracy Hunter Abramson.
For sure. Next, we have Sarah Eden coming out with a new book in the fall, I believe, called Forget Me Not. This one is exciting. If you've read the Jonquil Brothers, this book is going to be about their parents, which I'm super excited for.
Me too.
I can't believe it.
Did you hear about like their epic romance and how much they loved each other, but they don't ever really delve into it?
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to actually like learn about what started the Jonquil family.
Well, and then you never actually meet the father in the books either.
Yes,
so then
'cause he's already passed
you
away.
want to know. Yeah.
Yeah, like how did he get such a collection of crazy different children?
Right.
So I'm excited to see what type of mischief they get up to. But we have the little blurb for it. Do you want to read it?
Yes. All right. Julia Cummings has long been acquainted with loss. Her mother, her brother, her sister, her friend, all gone too soon. But the loss that pushed her grief to the limit as a young girl was that of her best friend, Lucas Jonquil, who abandoned her without looking back. Now 8 years later, Lucas has returned to Lambton Park, and Julia has steeled herself. She will never forgive the man who broke her heart. After losing too many of his friends and family to early deaths, Lucas vowed to live life to the fullest. And after traversing the world, he has returned from his adventures to find his family and home as he left them, except for Julia. The little girl he left behind has blossomed into a captivating lady, a lady who makes it clear she despises him. With little hope of reconciliation, the former friends are blindsided when their parents make a shocking announcement. Lucas and Julia have been betrothed without their knowledge and are to marry immediately. Now Lucas must rely on the help of his closest friends to win the heart of a lady who loathes him, a lady he's coming to love more deeply every day. And this one starts in 1785.
So not a Regency, just before, but
Yes.
still very exciting.
And I love the enemies to friends trope. So
I
it's
do
going to
too.
be so
That's
good.
a good one. And especially like the secret engagement, and you're like, what?
Yes.
Throws everyone through a loop.
I'm so glad that's
So-
not a thing now. I'm
Oh.
in big trouble.
That'd be so not cool. Okay, while we're on the topic of book announcements, Joanna Barker announced the title of her new novel coming out in the fall. It's called Otherwise Engaged, and here's our little blurb about it. Constantly stifled by the rules of society, spirited Rebecca Rowley enjoys finding ways to quietly or not so quietly rebel. But riding bareback and avoiding noisy neighbors are nothing compared to the thrilling secret she's keeping from her family. When Rebecca's quick thinking saves the lives of a young girl, she unwittingly attracts the attention of the child's dashing brother, Lieutenant Nicholas Avery. As that attention turns flirtatious, Rebecca is forced to tell him the truth. She is secretly engaged to the one man her family would never approve of. Fortunately, Lieutenant Avery is a Navy man with no wish to marry, or so they both assume as they enter into a friendship. Rebecca hopes to change her family's mind about her betrothed, but the more she comes to know the handsome lieutenant, the more she wonders if she promised her hand too hastily. After all her carefully laid plans are shattered during a family crisis, Rebecca must force her heart to decide. Should she stay true to the promise she made or fight for the future she's only just begun to imagine? I'm so excited for that one.
The secret
Oh.
engagement.
Love it. I love all her books.
Yes. So we also have a new Chris Heimerdinger book coming out. 13th Tennis Shoes book, correct?
I believe so. Thorns of Glory.
Fall. This fall sometime.
So keep your eyes open.
If you were reading that series, you'll probably want to read this one because it continues on with that
Yeah,
series.
it will finish that.
Is it going to end it?
I don't know if it
Wrap it
ends
up?
it, but you're not on a cliffhanger anymore. So.
That's good because I know a lot of people have been asking me about that since book 12.
Yes. So we're excited for that one. And then finally, let's talk about Jen Geigel Johnson. This month, so June, she is the Lost in the Library. It's the Wholesome Romance Book Club's June book pick of the month. So if you haven't had a chance to join the book club, click on the link provided and then join, and you can talk about her writing. There's gifts and giveaways and discussions about books. It's a lot of fun. There's some awesome admins there, so it's great.
It's just nice being able to talk about books and
Yeah.
all things bookish and the things that you love.
With people who enjoy the same type of books as you
Yes.
too, because we don't pick, the admins don't pick the books. It's the people part of the book club do. So
So everybody kind of gets to say. And then Jen Geigel Johnson also has a new book coming out in August called A Foreign Crown. And that one looks like that will be a really good one as well. And it looks like she just did a cover reveal on social media, right?
yes,
So that should be exciting.
yes. So we're excited to
love
learn
cover
more about that
reveals.
one. I do too. It's always very exciting.
When you
I-
wonder how it relates to the book, you get this little
Yeah.
peek, you're like, how does this relate to the book?
and then the title and everything.
yeah.
And then just I don't know, to be an author and just put your product out and you're like, look at my baby.
Right?
So beautiful. They did an awesome job on the final words from our sponsors are To Be Read Pile, the collection of books you say you will read but don't because you keep acquiring new books instead of reading the ones you already have.
Nothing wrong with that. A TBR pile is a special space that is filled with all the memories of previous years of reading interests.
We have faith that you will make it through your pile.
Or at least add to it. Now let's hear from Read More with her future TBR list for July.
So our July releases will be The Enemy Between Us by Melinda Sue Sanchez. And then we do have another one by Anita Stanfield, The Heiress of All Things Beautiful. And then our new author is Katie Stewart Stone, Coming Home to Bellingham. And Katie has been kind enough to answer some questions for us.
I'm Katie Stewart Stone. I'm a new author with Covenant. My first book is coming out in July, Coming Home to Bellingham. And Seagull Book has asked me a few questions, so I thought I'd answer them. The first is, when did you decide you wanted to become an author? I think being a writer was probably one of my earliest desires, along with being a wolf trainer, so you can imagine how likely I thought that I would ever be published. what gave you the idea for coming home to Bellingham? The first, I guess, glimpse I had of the book was of Annabelle herself, the main character. She was standing on a seaside cliff with her hair just blowing in the wind. It was a really lovely scene, which didn't make it into the book. But it's just kind of funny how things evolve while you're writing. But things just formed around that, formed around her, as a person. So, yeah, that's just kind of how it started. Are you currently working on another novel? The short answer is yes, I am. My goal is to have another Regency romance finished by the end of the year. But I am currently 38 weeks pregnant, and my little girl will be coming soon. So I anticipate things will slow down a little bit here in the next few weeks. But it is still my goal. Let's see, what is your quarantine binge? I have been watching a lot of nostalgic movies. Let's see, 2 Weeks Notice, You've Got Mail, While You Were Sleeping, just fun romantic comedies. Although, I don't watch a whole lot of TV during the day. It's mostly just one movie before I go to sleep at night. And then I've also been binging some books. I've been reading some of my fellow authors with Covenant, namely Esther Hatch and Joanna Barker. They're just amazing historical romance novelists. I really hope to emulate them someday. But anyway, thanks, Seagull Book. I'm happy to be a new author, and I just feel so lucky. I hope you check out my book, Coming Home to Bellingham, in July.
Join us next time for more on how to emotionally recover from finishing a good book.
And a new breakthrough in tuning everyone and everything out while you read. Thank you, and good night.
Remember, stay true to yourself.
All right, is that a wrap?
I think so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Getting back to this story.
I know, let's get to a good part too.
Let's see. What about you guys? What are you guys reading?
I'm reading the new A Change of Fortune one.
Hey, we're reading the same.
Oh, we're just reading the same book.
Right.
And we're doing chocolate bar and then we're on truffle.
Yes.
Thank you.
yeah.
Thanks.
You know me so well.
So glad you brought those back to the studio.
I know. I had to get some samples.
Magic of no calorie chocolate. It's still
Yes.
delicious.
Exactly.
Everything's good when chocolate's there.
It's so true. A book and a chocolate. What more do you need? Oh, all right.
Not much, really.
And a
That's
blanket.
a dream come
And a
true.
blanket.
It's true.
It's
And
like,
a dashing hero.
oh yeah. Yes, for sure.